poppin', beautiful people? Welcome into our 90-day The Single Life Review. We are going over season 5, episode 11. The episode was titled The Art of Dragging. And we know for sure that is what Bella did with her words in this episode. But welcome into everybody. A big thank you to everybody who has been subscribing to the channel, encouraging others to subscribe to the channel, as well as the existing subscribers. I am very close to full monetization, so I do very much so appreciate you guys for helping me get to the road to 1,000. I also want to take the opportunity to welcome my new subscribers. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thug life to all of you. I hope that everybody's having a good day or evening whenever you are watching this video. Also, if you like the content that we do on this channel, or if you enjoyed the video as you're watching it on the way in or on the way out, I hope that you do consider liking the video. Also, let's always tap in with the Black Creator Spotlight that is always in the description of this video. I do want to make it clear I am Black, so I support everybody Black. There will always be a Black Creator Spotlight, but anybody is welcome on my channel. All people are welcome. All people are loved, and all of those good things. But let's get into this episode, y'all, on this fine Tuesday. So we start out the episode with Gino and Natalie. They've been trying to figure things out. They have this tumultuous history primarily because, in my opinion, Gino doesn't know how to close the door as it relates to his ex. And I know a lot of people might be like, well, Jasmine's moved on, got a new baby daddy, kids, but they're still not divorced. And I don't understand what is taking so long for these people to get divorced. And I do want to also point out, though Gino is a little odd, he seems like a nice person. Day one fans of 90 days, do not be afraid to check me in the comments. Let me know if I'm right or wrong about some things, because sometimes people letting you know stuff helps you be clear on what's going on. But Gino seems like an okay guy. He's just a little weird. But apparently Natalie and Gino have been getting busy in the bedroom, having a great time, because the last we saw them, they was getting lap dances together at the strip club. And fast forward to the next morning. Now they are going to be preparing for Gino to meet Natalie's brother as well as her daughter again, so that they can spend time with him, get to know him, and all of those good things. So they immediately first meet with Natalie's twin brother, Rick, and things were okay with them meeting Rick. But when they get to a drag show, which Gino had a time. I love people who can go in any environment and have a time. I just know some men act funny about having to go to drag, which I can understand, but I like that Gino is a good sport and just enjoying that Natalie is helping him to do things that like take him out of his shell, make him feel exposed to do new and different things. Like, we love that for him. But at the end of the drag show, Gino, Rick, and Natalie are talking, and Natalie's like, I don't know where Bella is. Bella's her daughter, and Bella's the one who planned this event. So it's very odd that she's not showing up. And Natalie's like, she has not texted me back at all. And by now they're at the end of the drag show. So she's like, what's going on? So Rick speaks up, and it turns out that Bella did speak up to Rick, and she told Rick that she is not interested in hanging out with Gio. She says she doesn't like him, and she's not past what happened with Jasmine. I get it. My thing is, if Gino is divorced from Jasmine, I don't think it's fair to hold him accountable for the crazy stuff that Jasmine has done. If Gino is not divorced from Jasmine, he shouldn't have even been checking for Natalie. That's just my opinion. You know, you have a messy divorce. Things have already gotten crazy. So if you're not divorced fully, then you should not be talking to other people. And I say this all the time on my channel, until y'all can point me in the direction of a situation where people who are in relationships with someone who's still married works, whether it be separation or any of that, I don't feel like it's smart. And I know there are those outliers of people who, do make it work, but until you are divorced and that stamp has been put on the dissolution of marriage, like, in my opinion, you shouldn't be dating. It's not fair. It's just not. But Rick asked Gino if he's filed for divorce. Gino hesitated and never really answered the question, at least from what they showed us on the show. He didn't answer the question. And, Rick pretty much feels like he can't blame Bella for feeling a way about her mom dating this guy. I get it. I have a mother who makes terrible decisions as it relates to men, but I also feel like with anybody, no matter how much you care about them or want them to do better, people have to work through stuff on their own. So even if it's a bad decision, speak your piece and then let it go and let Natalie decide what she wants to do with Gino. Like the more people fight against relationships, in my opinion, it's pushing them toward the very thing that their loved ones don't want them to go towards. So I do feel like Rick and Bella are doing too much, but I understand where they're coming from and I really don't fault them. But later that day, Gino is with Natalie and they're having a little chat and she's speaking about how she's surprised that her daughter is mad at her. You know, Natalie did speak about how she's always been cheated on in all of her relationships. She says her daughter has never seen her in a healthy relationship or something that's going to serve her in a positive way. And it did explain why her daughter is so like, this is my mom, back up. It did explain a lot. Unfortunately, you know, I think growing up, kids forget that our parents are people too. And in them being people, they're people that are growing. So they are probably learning to navigate and date themselves. It's just unfortunate that the kid had to suffer through it, but this is part of why it's important to be, you know, careful with who and how you have a child to maybe prevent them from going through that. But, you know, whatever the case, the damage is done. Bella feels away. She calls Bella on speakerphone right in front of Gino without letting Bella know that Gino is near. And pretty much Bella is mad at Gino because she feels like he's a troll. She says that he's a troll and she refers to Gino as a spineless loser, which I think that's a little much. Like your mom was talking to Gino, but Gino shouldn't have had your mom in that situation, but I think an apology versus calling him a spineless loser is enough. But I get it. She doesn't like her. Her daughter says pretty much like she loves her mom, but she's not going to support this relationship and prefers that it be kept away from her, which I honestly think is smart. If you don't trust it, then stay away. But I feel like Bella behaves in a way that is forcing her mom or making her mom feel forced to choose. And I don't think that's fair. Let your mama date who she wants to date. You're grown now. It shouldn't affect you that much. But I do understand where she's coming from. But Gino heard all of it. And he's like, so what do you want to do? And it looks like Natalie's going to spend her time going and talking with Bella and is going to figure out some things. I don't really like Natalie for Gino and don't feel like they'll last. I feel like Natalie can do better. It is just trying to choose a guy that's a little awkward or viewed as nerdy, thinking that it will prevent her from being cheated on and stuff. But to me, the same way we start is the same way we end. The same way you catch something is the same way you lose it. So I personally feel like she should not have gone back and dealt with Gino. Like if you got your ex-wife coming after me physically, I don't want to talk to you until you can show me the stamped dissolution of marriage paperwork. I want to see that this divorce is signed, sealed, delivered, finalized, stamped, and all of that. I want your last name changed back to what it was before you got married. All of that. So I'm looking at Gino and Jasmine, and I'm kind of like, you know, their situation was toxic, but I think Natalie has to also do some, you know, soul searching and be accountable as well, because I feel like Natalie is also toxic. Child, there is something in my eye. See, there's always something happening, y'all. Always something happening. Anywho, that is all that happened with Gino and Natalie for this episode of 90 Day to Single Life. Again, in my opinion, this is a slow season. Not anybody on this season of the Single Life am I excited to see. And it looks like they all will be single for some time, every cast member, because I'm just not seeing the growth or the work or the effort that needs to go into having a relationship with any of these people. But we're going to discuss Vanya next. Shout out to Vanya's people for watching my review. How y'all doing? I'm going to take the opportunity to shout y'all out. Somebody commented on our last review for the episode, The Art of Cobwebbing. I guess this person knew Vanya and thought I didn't understand how a reality television show works. I do understand that we do not see everything on reality TV. And I do also understand that the editors do play a big part in things not always coming out for what they really are. I think everyone that watches TV knows that. I think sometimes people need to recognize that my review, as it says going across the bottom of the screen in orange, as well as in the description of this video and on my profile in the disclaimer, is based off of what we see on TV. So all I can do is judge these people for what I see on the episode. I do not judge these people off of what I see on their social media. I do not judge these people off of anything other than the show. I am not a pop culture podcaster. I am not a podcaster at all to that person. I am a YouTuber who is doing a review of the show. But, just for those people who come in, YouTubers are commenting based on what we see. Our opinion is based on that episode. It is not a judgment of the person that's on the show. So if you're coming in here to judge me because you are upset that my opinion about somebody that you know is less than perfect, I'm sorry. My review is my opinion, just like your opinion is your opinion. And we don't need to attack each other or be rude because we have a difference of opinions. I don't know what's wrong with people. I don't. But I just wanted to point that out before we talk about Vanya, in case her people come up in here, because all I do is comment on the show. Ain't nobody trying to argue with y'all. And if y'all keep coming for me, I'm going to just ignore your comments. That's all I can do. But getting into the episode, Vanya and Tony have been having problems. And honestly, after watching this episode, the problem is Vanya. The problem is Tony. And the problem is these are two people who, in my opinion, are not compatible as it relates to a relationship, trying to force some shit to stick that's just not sticking. And I will keep saying this until Vanya can provide proof that she did not chase this man and beg and ask him to be in a relationship with her when he was clearly telling her that he was not ready, when he was clearly telling her that he had another situation and a crazy toxic ex-wife situation, and she still chased this man down for a relationship. I can't feel bad for Vanya. I feel for her with what she went through on 90 Day, but in the situation specifically with Tony in this season, I don't feel for Vanya. I don't. I think Vanya's cool. She seems like a nice girl, pretty girl, bubbly personality. But you could tell based on how she handled conflict, edited or not, and based on how she spoke, that I don't think that Tony's the person for her. I think she needs someone who's a little more extroverted because she's got such a bubbly personality. And I also don't think that she is able to argue in a healthy way in relationships. And people don't understand the difference and the fact that there is a such thing as a healthy way to argue. I don't think Vanya knows how. I see someone that gets triggered and like immediately goes off and acts and reacts based on the trigger versus with sense, which a lot of people do. A lot of people do it. So I'm not faulting Vanya for it, but the way she did it, it was just like a little, like you're making my teeth hurt, baby. You're making my teeth itch. But I'm not quite in this situation. I don't understand why she's mad at Tony. They went out on a date in the last episode. Basically, on that date, things went well. It was a dance class. Tony looked uncomfortable the entire time at that dance class. And you can tell that the only reason he agreed to the dance class is because Vanya said it's important to her. So if someone's doing something just for you, then compromise, Vanya. He didn't want to dance afterward. The issue wasn't just that Vanya went and danced with another guy in front of her dude. It was the childish temper tantrum she threw before she did it. Things were going well in the class. And then when she found out afterward that he wasn't too keen on staying after, she was like, fine, well, I'm going to go dance with someone else. And ran off to the first guy she saw and was like, you want to dance? And then danced right in front of Tony's face. The fact that Vanya would think that's an appropriate or adult response is baffling. And we know that she did not think her response was good because after she slept on it and they talked, they make peace. But in this moment, I'm looking at her arguing with Tony and I'm like, girl, you don't see the error in your behavior. I get that you have triggers and trauma, but that doesn't give you the right to go off just because someone does something that you don't like or doesn't do something that you would like them to do. That doesn't give you the right to behave like that, Vanya. It just doesn't. But, she basically claims that she stormed off and danced with another guy. Tony pointed out that she stormed off and danced with another guy in front of him. And then Tony made a comment that made me look at him like, absolutely not, sir. Because Tony made the comment where he was like, well, you not only did you dance with the guy in front of me, and he looked like your ex. And I'm like, wait, why do you know what her ex looks like? why does what the ex look like matter? How is what her ex looks like relevant to the situation with her dancing with somebody else? Everybody got a doppelganger out there, but I'm looking at Tony like, why are you doing this to this girl? Like, it doesn't seem like Tony ever really wanted a serious relationship with Vanya. And in my opinion, from her telling him she wants to be celibate or abstain from sex, whatever her situation was, he seemed very concerned about that, which to me was a red flag. Because if you like her, then wait and respect her body. But now you're comparing the ex in situations that have nothing to do with the ex. That just tells me that you're insecure, Tony. It does. Or if you're not insecure, you're projecting on her shit that you're doing. Because Tony had a whole toxic situation with another woman before Vanya that they were telling us about earlier in the season. And I'm looking at him sideways. And really, my only critique for Vanya, I don't like how she chased that man. I feel like she's beautiful and the man should have been chasing her. She shouldn't have been having to beg for a relationship and being, what do they call it, love bombed and breadcrumbed at the carnival, thinking that they're going to be in a relationship, thinking it could be nothing more, and him playing with her. Like, when men want you, they're not going to hesitate. They're not going to wait for it to be right. They're going to come for you. And I feel like Tony did not do that with Vanya, and it's just going to cause problems. And I feel like he didn't, because a piece of me feels like Tony is a fuckboy. Sorry, not sorry. It's my opinion. Y'all don't like it. Oh, well. But I feel like on the low, Tony's a fuckboy. Fuckboys come in all different variations, y'all. Different colors, shapes, sizes, heights, religious creeds. They come in all different types. And Tony gives that. Like, I feel like he's going to play with Vanya. Now, yes, Vanya reacted in a way that was immature and showed that she needs to work on how she resolves conflicts. She got in an Uber and stormed off from Tony and was like not able to see his perspective at all. But she's not a bad person. Vanya does not have bad intention. And the next morning, she tells Tony that she pretty much, felt like she reacted in a way that was difficult. And, I appreciate people like that who can react in a certain way that's not right. Not everybody's going to catch themselves in the moment, but the fact that the next day Vanya didn't just make peace with Tony, but was accountable for her part in things, I appreciated that from her. I don't think she's being accountable with the right person, though. I don't think Tony is the guy for Vanya. I don't know what's going to happen with them on the show, like the ending of it, because like I told y'all, I'm not too much in the pop culture. I like to watch like old school back in the day and then find out what happens as we continue on. But I don't want her with him. I don't like them together. I just don't. And I feel like, we know Vanya went through stuff, so I can understand why she reacts the way that she reacts. I don't get it with Tony. And my gut is telling me something with dude is off. Something is really, really, really off. But apparently they make peace and he ends up taking her to the airport because she's going to Ibiza and somewhere else, beautiful areas through Europe with her cousin Sanella. I just love saying that name, Sanella. I love that name. Anywho, she's going to travel with her cousin, which I'm here for. Girls trip, cousin love, here for it. But she's a little concerned about how things will go with her on the trip with Tony, because she did have a point with Tony when she stormed off. If you are trying to say that me dancing with another man in front of you means that I'm going to cheat, then what are we doing? And I did find it weird that her dancing with that guy in front of him, like, I can understand him being mad at her for storming off, and I can understand Tony being upset that Vanya dancing with dude was like spiteful, but I don't think she was dancing with dude with the intention to sleep with him. Like, the girl is celibate. She's not even giving her man any. So why is she going to go give it to anybody random on the street? Like, I don't feel like Vanya was doing that. I feel like she really had like a BF, as they called it in Mean Girls, and wanted her man to dance and be extroverted, and he wasn't like that. I think she truly threw a temper tantrum, but I don't think that she is the type of girl that would just be out here cheating on her man or doing things crazy. Like, Vanya does not give that at all. But Tony seems worried about her trip. He says when he leaves her at the airport, he says that he worries that the trip will show Vanya that the single life is for her. Now, I do see some of that. Like, Vanya does she did make some comments that showed she's comfortable being single, but she also made comments that I think most women over 30 would make. I'm a married woman, and I agree. Can't nobody hold me down and tell me what I can and cannot do. And I'm married. I'm a married woman who has taken girls' trips away from my husband to beautiful places, and it wasn't a problem. Vanya should be able to go to Ibiza without this man stressing out that she gonna cheat. Like, that's just my opinion. She hasn't shown any signs that she would do that. Tony, she chased you, my guy. So if anything, she's very interested. Tony's the one who needs to prove that Vanya's what he really wants. If as quiet as is kept, Tony does that. But, I'm going to keep it real with y'all. I feel like based on what Vanya said at the end of this episode, they're definitely not going to work. So Tony thinks that she's going to discover the single life is better while being away from him. And Vanya thinks that their relationship cannot handle another blow up. And I'd like to ask Tony and Vanya both. If you don't trust old girl, even though she's giving you no reason not to trust her, and Vanya, if you think that one more argument is going to end your relationship, why waste time? You need to do like Elise, dump that man at the airport, get on your flight with Sanella and have the time of your life. Because to have to go anywhere and be stressed about some insecure man that you had to chase, absolutely not. I hope Vanya lets go of Tony. I don't want Tony to dump her because I do kind of feel like he played with her. But also, Vanya, let this be a lesson. You are a woman, a beautiful woman. You are to be chased. You are not to chase a man down. If a man wants to be with you, he will ask you to be his girlfriend. You should not have to talk to him and convince him that you guys are ready for a relationship. Let that man do the work. Please, girl. Please. And to Vanya's family, y'all may not like my opinion. All the fuck well with love. Because I'm just commenting on what I see on the show. I'm not judging this girl's character. I actually think highly of Vanya and think she can do a lot better. She's just got some stuff she has to work on, just like everybody else. So we gonna wish Vanya and Tony the best. And hopefully next week we see better, but it looks like Tony's gonna give her a headache and pull that passive aggressive, I'm gonna blow her up on her trip and text her constantly. And that's annoying. Like, get a life, go do something, Tony. But that's it for Vanya and Tony for this week. The next people we're going to discuss from this episode is Courtney and nasty ass Colt. And yes, I'm saying it like that. So Courtney and Colt ain't dealing with each other because he been cheating on her with old girl in Colombia, right? And he was acting like he wanted Courtney back while also still talking. I cannot remember the girl that he was talking to in Colombia, to that woman. So Courtney tells her parents, and they're so cute in that grocery store. I love her parents. They're so cute. I hope that's me and my husband when old, just walking around the grocery store. I hope we don't have a 32-year-old child with us, but I do hope that we could be doing that. But Courtney and her parents are doing that, and she fills them in on what's going on with Colt. So apparently this nasty, nasty, nasty looking colorless trollop of a man is running around Brazil with this woman that he cheated on her with. I was like, why would Colt tell Courtney that he's in Brazil with the woman he was cheating with? And Courtney was surprised to find that out because she thought that Colt was going to be in Canada with his overbearing ass mama that I can't stand. But Colt went to Brazil and has been staying with the other woman. And he is supposed to be coming back to Orlando, Florida, where Courtney lives, so that he could get some stuff done with his surgery and continue taking care of himself. Courtney, why do you know all of this? Why can't you block that man's number? Why are you still talking to him? And I highly doubt that the only place that will do a surgery he needs is in Florida. Okay? I want to see him in the DMV area because presidential care is the best care. California has incredible orthopedic and surgical care. Cleveland Clinic, put them somewhere in the Midwest, somewhere it snows a lot in the winter and they get a polar vortex. But Orlando, I know they have good healthcare, but I don't feel like the healthcare is so good that that it's the only place that Colt could go. I feel like Colt is trying to manipulate this girl into being with him again because it's probably not working. I think her name was Diana in Brazil. Courtney, please. You're a pretty girl. You have the softest personality. Courtney just gives me somebody who, once she has a baby, is going to be the best mother. Like, I don't have much bad to say about Courtney. I want her to win, but I'm disappointed in her because she's allowing her kindness to become a weakness. And she needs to get away from Colt. She needs to get away from him. Girl, he can't even walk. He got one good leg. If you don't run the fuck away from him or run the other leg over, get away from Colt. I understand we want to go into stuff and judge people and form our own opinions, but we also need to be smart and acknowledge that there's a reason for the many negative opinions that are out about Colt. He is trash, a pathetic excuse as a man and a human, and just looking for the next person to take care of him. Courtney, it's better to be alone than to deal with this. If you got to come to California, I know a lot of boys out here that would love you. If you interested in coming to the dark side, baby, the darker the berry, the sweeter the juice, they say. And there's nothing like love from men of another culture. I'm just saying, try whatever you got to, Courtney, but anything but Colt. Anything but Colt. And I hollered because when she said that he coming back to Orlando, her parents both said at the same time, he can't stay with us. They said he can't come back here, baby girl. He's not welcome. And I was here for that. I was here for that because to cheat in my parents' home, now you've brought my family into it. That's a different level of sick. TLC, hold my hand when I tell you this. I'm going to hold y'all hand while I tell you this. We do not want Colt anymore. I don't want to see him on The Other Way. I don't want to see him on Hunt for Love. I don't want to see him on The Single Life. I don't want to see him on Before the 90 Days. I don't want to see Colt on shit. Let that nasty piece of shit suffer somewhere else. I do not like Colt. And he looked like he stank. Keep him away from us. And Brazil. Beautiful people of Brazil. Can somebody get the Brazilian government online so we could get them to like block Colt's fucking entry to the country? Because he just gone over to Brazil, breaking hearts, screwing women over, and then helping them get citizenship. Like, what are you doing, Colt? Just awful no matter where he goes. But Courtney says she's going to be picking Colt up from the airport once he returns back to Orlando to meet with the doctor. She says she feels responsible for Colt. Baby, unless you got a ring on your finger, you are not responsible for shit. And even then, you're still not responsible for nothing. That is a grown man. He will figure it out. He has a mother in Canada that he could be with. You are not the only option. Allow him to be him. Also, Courtney and Colt, both of you live at home with your parents. Why are you dating? Go get your own place, please. But Courtney, your parents got the space. You could stay home. But Colt needs to go do something because I feel like we met him while he was living with his mama, and then we've just watched him get taken care of by his mama and other women, and I'm tired of it. I just have nothing for Colt. And I'd like to point out, if Colt was a black man, people would be dragging him into the basement of hell, as my good sis Kiwan says, into the basement of hell. People will be dragging him, but I'm going to digress. Shout out to everybody watching if you are still here. I really do appreciate y'all for listening to my crazy opinion. I really appreciate y'all. We are going to discuss the last people of this episode, which was Kim, Jamal, and Larry. We're going to include Larry. Jamal, I could not stand you on 90 Day the Single Life when you were dating Veronica, but Jamal, I'm going to take back a lot of my negative words I gave about you, because if I say something bad about somebody, I have no problem correcting myself. Jamal is when it comes to dating, because you could tell he needs to be the center of attention. But if Jamal was my brother, my friend, my cousin, I would be lucky. You could tell that he is supportive and does love hard to the people he loves. Kim and Jamal are getting ready for Christmas, and she calls Larry, her other son, to show him the Christmas decoration. She wants to include him in things. I think it's nice that Kim is trying to include her adopted son into things. I know sometimes people come for Kim. Listen, Mrs. Best is a Kim fan. I do see both sides, though. I know some people are like, oh, are you using your adoptive kids as a storyline? She has someone she's dating also. I just think they're a part of her life and she wants to make them feel included. And what better way to make them feel included than telling the world on a nationally syndicated show, these are my children. I made this mistake. I'm happy they're okay. So I actually commend people like Kim who give up their children for adoption instead of trying to raise them when they are not able to raise them for whatever the reason. I think adoption is one of the greatest shows of love that a parent can give to a child. So I respect Kim for saying that, and I just want to point that out. Kim is thinking about going to the UK to meet with this man that we saw last week that she's been talking to. Here's my thing. Kim, you already done went to, was it Usman she was with? She went across the world to Nigeria. Kimberly, Let him come to you, girl. And one thing again, Kim finna keep a black man on her arm. Okay, Kim got a type and she is not ashamed of it, and I'm here for it. But Kim, let him come to you. Why you gotta go to the UK? He can't come see you. But maybe it's because he got kids. But she's considering going to the UK. It looks like Jamal is gonna go. I'm hoping he does go because I do think he can help her to keep like a level head on her shoulders. Other things that are important from Kim that we get this episode is she reads a letter that the family that adopted her daughter that she's still trying to locate wrote to her. She says she wasn't able to get the letter because she was in the military and they didn't know where to send it to because she kept moving. But she reads the letter and pretty much her daughter had a great life. Her daughter's intelligent. Her daughter, thrived and was in private school and is going through, and having a good life. This is why I say adoption could be wonderful, because 9 times out of 10, if the people can afford the adoption, they can afford to give them kids a good life and a good education. And that's what a lot of people want. So I'm happy for Kim in that. Curious to see where we'll go with the storyline. But that was really it for 90 Day. Again, this season, there's not the most that is and has been happening. I do hope y'all consider liking the video, subscribing to the channel. I really would appreciate it. Remember the things that we discuss in this video, they are for entertainment purposes only. They're also protected under the Copyright Fair Use Act. The things I comment on are based specifically on what we see on the show, not based on what I see on social media or anything like that. Also, reminder, everybody is welcome to comment, but let's be careful to be respectful in the comments. It is very important, especially as my channel grows. I want people to know that this is a safe space. So if you are commenting, comment on the show. Let's not attack each other. Let's be respectful. But other than that, love and light to all of y'all. I'm going to get a Temptation Island review out as well. If you want me to cover any shows, let me know. I'll have a live on my channel tomorrow for Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. The Watch Your Mouth Reviews channel may be joining us as a guest host. But other than that, love and light to everybody. Thug life. And I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.